So for our last and final example on hyperbolas, we're going to look at a real-world problem. And actually, we're going to talk about an astronomy problem. So it says Earth and the Sun are 146 kilometers apart. A comet follows a path that it's one branch of a hyperbola. So this comet is following like this hyperbola path, right? So it says, suppose the comet is 30 million miles farther from the Earth than it is from the Sun. Determine the equation of the hyperbola centered at the origin for the path of the comet. Okay, so they tell us the Earth and the Sun is 146 million miles apart. So this length right here is 146, right? And we can actually figure out what C is from that number right there. Basically, what it's saying is that from the center to the Sun is going to be the C value is going to be half of that whole thing, right? Because the center, it's right in the middle, okay? So we can say that C is going to be 146 divided by 2, or 73 million miles, okay? So that's where C is located, the foci. Now, the next thing we find out is that from the problem, it says that the comet is 30 million miles farther away from the Sun than it is from the Earth. So basically, since it's 30 million miles farther, and we know that that 2a, that constant difference, 2a, is going to be is equal to 30, we can use that to figure out that a is actually going to be 15, right? So now we know a and we know c, and we can use our that Pythagorean theorem to figure out what b is. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to say c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, right? And so we would say 73 squared is equal to 15 squared plus b squared, right? Now, using a calculator, I can say that 73 squared is 5,329, okay? So 5,329 is equal to 15 squared is 225 plus b squared. Now, if I want to figure out what b squared is, I just have to subtract 5,329 minus 225, and I get it to be 5,104. Now, we don't really need to worry about what b itself is. We can take the square root of that, but it's going to be some decimal. It doesn't really matter for our equation of a hyperbola. So we're just going to leave it as b squared is 5,104, okay? Now, this is a hyperbola centered at the origin, so it's just going to be x squared and y squared. We also know that since the longest side from Earth to the Sun is the horizontal, it means that x squared is going to come first, right? So we say, okay, so it's going to be x squared over a squared, which was 15 squared, or 225, minus y squared over that number we found, that b squared was 5,104, is equal to 1. And again, is it okay that b squared is bigger than a? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so here's the equation, and